Yo, what's going on, Hero Clutch? Welcome back to a brand new special type of video. Yes, a video requested by the Elite for June 2024 and bleeding into July. The Elite have a special perk. They can request a video and I will make that video sometime in June / the middle of July. And well, here is the first video. From Salik, he says, since Time Treasure event is next, here we are. I like to see a video about the exo weapons, like which heroes we should give priority, which heroes benefit level 40, and for which heroes level 30 is enough. So he's talking about the gear skill. So I thought I'd make a nice video talking about, my perspective on which heroes are worth getting to level 40 versus keeping at 30 or 31, and which S heroes would actually benefit from this as well. So the goal of this whole video is not for you to copy and paste what I do, but to understand the perspectives that I put out there and to see how I view the game when it comes to upgrading heroes, when it comes to upgrading specifically the gear skill, and to see how I pick and choose overall. And the goal for you is to develop your skills where you can make your own intellectual decision to make the best moves for you, because we're all on different points of this hero class journey. There really is no one answer solution when it comes to this game. So yeah, from a free-to-play and play-to-pay perspective. Okay, so let's go over to the good old heroes. And as you can see, my top is...
Burn to ashes!
Dude, they need to switch that voice. That is so atrocious. Now, I do have Natalie at level 40. However, she is a human, and is level 40 actually worth it? I would say 100% no. I think she's perfectly fine at level 30/31. And the reason why I say level 31 is because usually, on average, when it comes to certain heroes, one of the attributes increases by 5 to 10%, depending on what hero it is, which we'll show sometime in this video, okay? So I would say Natalie is definitely a level 31. Pushing her to 40 is just, I only have red 40 because of the past, and I never, downgraded her. But if a good human hero came out that required, level 40 gear skill, I would definitely downgrade Natalie to 31, okay? However, based on what's coming in the future with Hero Clash, I highly recommend, balancing your stones so you don't have all your exclusive stones stuck on one faction. As you'll see in this video again, that a lot of my maxed out heroes are different factions, with one exception being, well, human. You'll see in a second. Now my next hero,
burn into ashes and rebirth.
Good old Phoenix, and I would say she's 100% worth taking to level 40, because when there are no more than 3 targets, increase her skill damage by 100%. Whenever you get something that's crazy as increased skill damage by 100% when there's no more than 3 targets, something crazy like that, then it's 100% worth it. However, from a free-to-play perspective, I would say it's never worth it. My free-to-play account, I've been playing a year and a half, almost more than a year and a half, and I just don't see the need to take any hero to level 40. If anything, from a free-to-play perspective, you should only take heroes to level 30/31. And when it comes to S heroes, only take them to 20. Now, there is one S hero I would take to 30, which we'll cover that in this video, okay? However, there are a lot of other S heroes that you can take to 30, but as a free-to-play player, you're very, very tight on what you can do when it comes to stones, and we'll get to that in a second, okay? Now, the next hero I would go for, actually, focusing back on the Phoenix, I would say after you have your top 2 teams at 30/31, then I would probably take her to 40. It's very subjective. It's hard to give advice when I don't know where you are at in your hero class journey, but for me at least, I would get her to 40 sooner than later. Okay, now this is obviously coming from a pay-to-play perspective, taking advantage of the Time Treasure events, etc. Okay, moving on to the next hero.
I enjoy when the moonlight
Sophia, let's go. And I'm gonna, yes, I will, with level 40. Now, I would say she's probably the #1 hero. I would say top 3 to take to level 40, and the reason why is because not only do you ignore 50% of the enemy damage reduction, when Nocturnal Shadow kills an enemy, Spirit of Ripples gains 1 stack of Nocturnal Shadow and recovers HP equal to 500% of attack. That is extremely OP. I'm going to put that in the Phoenix category. It is a necessity at some point, because that extra stack man, dude, Sophia is OP, and she's not going anywhere anytime soon. There's no defense that can withstand a maxed out Sophia. Sorry, there's not. You can thank Hero Clash on that one. Okay, so when it comes to the priority level of Sophia, I would say if you do take a hero to level 40 and you only had to choose one, I'm choosing Sophia. I'm choosing Sophia 100%, you know, and then work on Phoenix. I don't know, because Phoenix you can buff up without that 100% damage, skill damage, when there's only like 3+ enemies or whatever. But with Sophia, it kicks in right away, you know. With the Phoenix, it doesn't kick in right away. So just saying, right? Yeah, see, when there's no more than 3 targets, so you got to take off 3 targets before it even kicks in. So I would say it's worth it. It's only if you have a good super offensive team. Okay,
I enjoy when the
Nature
moving
is
to the next hero we have
and
is
real.
Dream. As you can see, I have her at 31. I did have her at 40 because the meta I created when it came to using Destruction Eye and her was absolutely phenomenal. I used her to counter Alvarez and a lot of heroes, and I still use her to this day, and she is part of the plan to take out Sophia. You know, I've defeated Exodia multiple times without using Exodia, and she is part of that plan. However, I don't think she's worth building, and I don't think it's worth maxing out Eye Destruction just to have this type of strategy. And it's not foolproof. It's not 100%. You know, every game is different, but it just focusing on the gear skill. I don't think it's worth taking her to 40. Nah, it's not.
Rules are made
To be broken. Now, moving on to Geo, I would say he's in my top 3 to getting to level 40 simply because she's extremely OP. This dude could take out a whole team by himself in the right circumstances. I've lost to Geo, you know, when it's 1v6, and I've won with Geo when it's like 1v6, you know. So I think he's worth it. And if you read it, whenever follow-up attack is triggered, increase the all subsequent damage dealt by 10% for 1 turn. Just saying, that is extremely OP. 10% increase, and then depending what and who is on the field, this dude shreds. And I'm just gonna tell you right now, my Geo has 200% armor penetration. So yeah, good luck.
The brightest moonlight is held in the hands of darkness.
Now, when it comes to Alvarez, going back to Geo really quick.
Rules are made to be broken.
Going back to Geo real quick, from a free-to-play perspective, I think he's 100% worth building, but I would probably just take him to level 30/level 31. I wouldn't push him to 40 right away because, like I said, from a free-to-play perspective, you just don't have that many options. You really don't, and you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket because there's no point having one super good hero on a team and then the other 5 are just like struggling, you know. It's really hard from a free-to-play perspective, but I do have a free-to-play video coming very, very soon. It's like 30 to 45 minutes of me just going through my free-to-play account after saving resources for 6+ months. Yes, 6+ months. So we're going to unload on that. We're going to try to max out some heroes. You know, Sophia is the target. You know, Geo is at Transcendent Plus. And this is my free-to-play account after a 1.5 years. So stay tuned for that, okay? Moving on to Alvarez.
I walked into the night.
From a free-to-play perspective, 100%, I would definitely get her to 31. Pushing her to 40, just I don't want to regurgitate about the free-to-play rule I have. Don't take any heroes to 40 unless, you know, just don't. But eventually, Alvarez would never be on that list of 40. I think 31 is perfect for her. Moving on to
Why do I
Olila.
adorn myself with stars if I'm to devour all things?
Now, she is an exception because, one, she is a voider. Yes, like I said, one of my rules in the beginning of the video is I do want to have one maxed out hero per faction, so I'm able to, you know, downgrade that hero time essence if a better hero pops up. I don't have to sit there and like, oh man, time treasure, oh man, let me do this, that, this, and that, you know. So one of my strategies is to have my exclusive stones all balanced out across every faction. And the only faction I'm struggling on is Nightfall, yo. So I need to balance out Nightfall, which I think will be my next faction, but there's another hero I want to focus on too that's really, really good defensive-wise. But when it comes to Olila, the only reason why I took her to 40, gain immunity to Alta C for 1 turn at the start of the turn, does not grant immunity to imprisonment. I think this is extremely OP when it comes to any heroes that are just, or any enemies that like to use a debuff tactic, this will counter that 100% unless an enemy Olila hits her. Obviously, with a 16.6% chance of that happening, but still, this is not a necessity. I don't recommend taking her to 40 at all unless your enemy just loves to debuff. Then I could see it, but other than that, I feel like Olila's slowly starting to fall off the bandwagon. She just has too many weaknesses, and when it comes to her basic attack is pretty much useless, pretty much garbage. So if your Olila gets hit by Geo and loses energy, good luck, man. She's just not that good when it comes to heroes like Geo that could take her energy. That's why she needs to have a high speed. However, if she's going on the fourth or fifth hero to attack, there's a good chance she just might do a basic. Now, if you do get an offensive attack, a skill damage attack, perfect, good job. But she's just too easy to counter, and it is what it is. So getting her to 40, yeah. No, I don't recommend it at all. Definitely not. But I'm going to keep her there until the new Voiders come out, and then I'm going to transfer that over with Time Essence. Okay. Moving on to the next hero we have is
no place to hide.
Fagon. Let's go, baby. Here we go. Level 40 is HP shield increases crit damage resistance by an additional 20%. Honestly, I don't think that's worth getting to 40. There's just too much to do with exclusive stones. Just from a pay-to-play perspective, I'm not doing it. Forget that. Man, I don't think we'll ever get, far enough in the game where I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take these 3 heroes level 40. Nah, man, unless you want to spend thousands upon thousands, that's up to you. But I like my best items. All right, here we go.
Those who are living have always been overrated.
Moving on to Cecina, we have is level 40. When there are more than 3 allies, Cecina's received healing increases by 30%. Absolutely atrocious. That now just nope. I think the max is level 30. Ooh, let me show you that level 30 31. So if you go down and then you hit enhance, as you can see, so enhancement bonus from 30 to 31 for her armor penetration increases from 15 to 20% only for 60 stones. So you're getting that 5% increase, and obviously the normal HP attack increase of 1.5%. But as you can see, it goes up by 5%, and that's why you see a lot of people have 31 instead of 30. That's why, because I'm pretty sure majority of the heroes have that from 30 to 31, a little 5% increase. Okay. I'm not going to do it to her because I just don't use her from an offensive perspective. She's absolutely atrocious when it comes to offense. She's good at debuffing, charming enemies, but on an offensive move, no. Okay.
I can free you from
moving on to Selina. Yeah, my baby Selina. Let's go. She's extremely OP, but what does level 40 say? Increased damage reduction of linked allies by 20%. So you're only getting an increase by 5% damage reduction. I personally don't think that's worth it. I think they should just went all out and did something cool for her. When it comes to level 40, I would say on average, 95% of the heroes aren't worth level 40 for what it takes. When you have your hero at level 30, it takes 800 more stones to get them to 40. And there's a lot of heroes that just don't benefit from level 40 in comparison to taking those 800 stones and making, 2 other S or S plus heroes level 30, and then taking that odd 200 and putting it towards a third hero and trying to scavenge 100 more stones up from time treasure or something. And I think that's where Hero Clash really messes up at, because imagine if, a good example for Selina, if level 40 was, increased damage reduction of linked allies by 20% per 2 turns, when the highest attacker takes damage, increase damage reduction by 50% for the end of the round or something. There's so much they could do, but, this is a really big game. I feel like the devs are extremely limited on what they can do. And you just can't cover every angle with perfection unless they hire Trinity Jax. But anyways, with that being said, moving on to the next hero. Now, I'm not going to go over every single hero. Only about 20-30 minutes of heroes. But I would say Void Twins might just make the list. And let me explain why. Now, I'm not saying go out and max her out to 40. Absolutely not. Never. However, if you do find yourself using the Void Twins a lot, check it out, okay? Level 40, when Void Twins cast Astral Fusion, allies receiving energy bonus gain an additional 15% crit boost in the turn. Now you're probably thinking, Trent, it's only 15%. Let me tell you this, the way the game is set up, that 15% crit boost is very, very crucial, very, very important. Let me explain. What I want you to do is I want you to go through all your heroes and look at the crit resistance, right? So we'll just do it with the twins.
Soon from the slumber, they shall wake up.
Crit resistance, 25%.
Who are
Crit
living
resistance,
have always been
22%.
overrated.
There's a huge pattern of crit resistance being very, 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 very low. Now, there are, ways to increase that, but there's not ways to increase it enough to where you're just foolproof of not getting critted. So... The reason why that 15% is so crucial is because, example would be Sophia. My Sophia sits around 100, 110% crit. And then with Maniac, runes increases by 30% or 30% added. So if I decided to go against someone who has a higher crit resistance, the Void Twins could be the move if I'm focusing that energy on Sophia. That 15% could make a huge difference. Now, on the priority scale, would I max out to 40 just for that? Probably not. But I would say the Twins are on that level to where you could make an argument for it. You really could. However, I personally won't be doing it because part of my strategy now and in the future doesn't really involve the Twins. However, that could easily change, just fine. Okay, like what I said in the beginning of the video, it all comes down to just knowing what these heroes do and just keeping it in the back of your mind that there is a potential you could take any hero to level 40 or S hero to level 30, depending on what situation arises, depending on what the meta changes to, etc. So that's what I want everyone to take from this video is know that there's always going to be a possibility for any hero to get maxed out to 40, except for most of them. But based on where the meta is going, there's always the possibility to, example, the Twins hit level 40 because you want that increase in crit for your main attacking hero who gets the energy. The more you know when it comes to this game, when it comes to all these gear skills, the more you can create a strategy to make you better in the game. Now, moving on to the next hero we have is Souls. Actually, now I don't want to do the rest of these heroes. Let's there's one hero that I want to focus on, and then we'll get to the S hero that I think is worth maxing out. And that hero is... where is she at? Knight of Rebirth.
My job is not done as long as life exists.
So before making this video, I decided to look at all the heroes and create a list on my computer screen in front of me. And someone who made the list and I really wasn't aware about, and I think really needs some attention, is Knight of Rebirth. There was somebody, I don't know if they're in Order of Light Union or in the the first few servers, someone in one of those unions has Knight of Rebirth maxed out completely, and I'm going to be studying that account more, watching their gameplay, because there's not many people who ever maxed out. However, check this out. First, level 30 you have is deal damage equal to 15% of the target's current HP to the enemy with the lowest HP at the start of the turn. The damage does not exceed 1.125,000, attack, blah, blah, blah. But look at level 40. Deal damage equal to 15% of the target's current HP to 2 enemies with the lowest HP at the start of the turn. Bro, what? 15%? 2? Dude, man. I guaranteed her maxed out along with Geo and Sophia. Dude, yo, I need to see some different meta gameplay. Yo, I need to see it. I need to see this in action. I really do. I might just max her out just to test her out myself. But yeah, I'm putting her on the list as a high potential, but I would wait for that video to drop before making any moves. Okay, but yeah, so watch out for her in the future. Now moving on to S heroes, there's a lot of S heroes, but from a free-to-play perspective, I would say no to 99.9% of them, aka leaving one left. Now from a pay-to-play perspective, there are a few S heroes that I'm not going to go over. You can just read them, you can see for yourself. A good example would be...
a happy cloud in the sky.
You could argue Merciful Tree Spirit. You're getting a crit rate for all allies, not just specific heroes on that team, you can make an argument for her. However, the number one hero, yeah, actually, really quick, you can make an argument for Nocturne Queen because the Wheel of Fate recovers additional 50% max HP instead of 30%. That 20% increase is extremely huge. So if you max her out, not only will you can instead of reviving 2 people, you can revive 3 people, and then if it's at level 30, then you can get 50% of max HP, which is extremely OP. However, her counter is souls, so it kind of like just defeats the purpose of her completely. But but she is on the list for one of those heroes that has potential if you do want to take her to 30. Do I recommend it? Absolutely not. But if you have, if you just want to, gobble down a whole bunch, of stones by the thousands, then hey, more power to you, right? Now, when it comes to the S tier, the only S tier I recommend a free-to-play player takes is Silsa. Now, a lot of people are going to be upset, like, oh, Trinity, you're wrong. No. Silsa is the only hero in the game that can play a huge role in suppressing Exodia. It's suppressing any hero that is able to be stunned or entangled when it comes to that first round. I think she's extremely OP. And here is why. So level 30, release Toxic Fog against all enemies upon death, and there's a 60% chance to entangle the target for 1 turn, and a 30% chance to entangle the target for 1 extra turn after the first entanglement ends. And it's exactly what I do, and as you can see, her debuff hit is at 75%. However, this is with the Abyssal Amulet. Usually I'll put on the Devil's Fang, and then it increased it to, I think, like 142 or something. Was it 120% debuff hit? And so pretty much I'm entangling almost the whole enemy team on round 1, and then probably about 2 to 3 on average on round 2. And I think that's extremely OP. But I would say this is probably the only hero you could take up. And you could argue Ocean Amulet too. You got the debuff hit of 29%. What does that do? Let's see. I'm one away. Let's go. 560. Oh, goodness gracious. I forgot about that. Last year we had a little rant about that as well. And then, as you can see, when it comes to debuff, 89% with this on it. Not too bad. I've tested it out between all 3 of them, and I think she does perfectly fine without Devil's Fang, Now, yeah. So as a free-to-play player, if you really want to, do some damage, Silsa. At the minimum, I would take her to 20. Level 20, and then I would actually just wait. I wouldn't put her at 30 right away as a free-to-play player. I will be covering this in tomorrow's video, which is my free-to-play account, and I'm still debating if I want to take her to 30 or not. I do have a few more heroes I want to get to 30/31, and yeah, I cannot wait. Stay tuned for that video. But if y'all made it this far, hopefully you enjoyed. Like I said, this is my opinion. This is what I believe is best when it comes to this scenario on average, this meta in Hero Clash currently in June. Obviously, it could change next month or in 2 months with the new system coming later this month with a whole bunch of crazy stuff that's going to happen in 2024.
Lastly, I know there's a lot more heroes I could cover that do have potential for level 40. However, I'd be here for another 2-3 hours, and I think it's just best to develop your own skill, read it and make your own decisions. In my opinion, the more you know, the better you'll be, and make sure you keep a balance between your exclusive stones, because once those stones in the chest leave to go to a specific hero, let's say Nightfall faction, those stones will always be Nightfall faction. So even if you use Time Essence, it won't matter. You can only use those stones for Nightfall, right? So I recommend building up your chest and just being very, very cautious, being very, very intelligent when it comes to upgrading these heroes.
With that being said, hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Greatness manifested.